Okay, for negative and zero exponents, let's look at these problems here. There are two completely different ways to do this first problem. I'm going to do both of them so you can see that you really can choose. The first way is just to remember that when we multiply, we are adding these exponents. So if we add 5 plus 4, we get a positive 9. We add that to this negative 9, and we wind up with 0. Now remember, that is the exponent. Our base is h. So we would have h to the 0 power, and anything raised to the 0 power is 1. So that was your final answer. The other way you could have done it is you could have said, well, this dude here is not happy. He wants to go down to the bottom. So he's now h to the ninth, and he's on the bottom. Then, meanwhile, these two were perfectly happy. So we'll just put those together and we would get h to the ninth on the top. And what is anything divided by itself? Well, it's 1. Or you can think that this will cancel out with this and that equals 1. So, a couple different ways to do that. Moving on to this one, these are both unhappy. This dude wants to come up and this dude wants to go down. So let's make them happy. All right, so we wind up with k to the 10th on the top and k to the 12th on the bottom. And now we need to simplify. We learned that when we divide, we subtract the exponents. So we're going to get a k to the second, and it winds up wherever the bigger exponent is. So we would put that on the bottom, since 12 is bigger than 10, and we need to put a 1 on top. Now this is another problem where you really could have done it a completely different way. You could have left it just like this and said, well, when we divide, we subtract exponents, and so we would have negative 12, and we would subtract that negative 10. And then we leave change opposite, we wind up with an exponent of negative 2, which is k to the negative second power. And where does he want to go? He wants to go down to the bottom. So either way, you're going to wind up with 1 over k squared. For C, remember we deal with coefficients completely differently and separately from the variables. 6 divided by 2 is 3. Remember, we're not subtracting these. These are coefficients. They're just regular old numbers that we know how to deal with. This dude here wants to go downstairs, and so he joins the m to the third. So we wind up with m to the third times m to the 12th. When we add those exponents, we get m to the 15th power. And then finally, we're going to raise every single thing in here to the negative second power. This is the power of power rules, or as I like to call it, the rainbow rule. So we will have negative 3 raised to the negative second power. We will have a raised to the, well, we've learned that we just multiply those exponents, right? So negative 4 times a negative 2 is going to be a positive 8. And then x to the third to the negative second would be x to the negative 6th. Okay, so we've got several things that are not happy. The one thing that is happy is a to the 8th. So he's going to stay on the top. Everything else is going to want to move. So this dude wants to come down here. So when we move him, he's going to be a happy camper with the exponent. It's going to be negative 3 to the second power, which is a positive 9. So 9 is down here at the bottom. And this dude here wants to come down as well and join him. And so we wind up with a to the 8th on the top and 9x to the 6th on the bottom.